Hello creatives, this is Osman again for your Photoshop basics, and if you've not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. Alright, in the last class we treated the layer styles, and we treated in the layer styles drop shadow, inner glow, outer glow, and inner shadow. We treated those four. Today we're going to look at other types of layer styles. So I will start with stroke. So stroke is simply, just adding like outline. If you're coming from CorelDRAW, it's called outline. Okay, but here in Adobe apps, it's called stroke. It's just the outer edges of a particular layer. Okay, you can apply the stroke to like we've applied it now, and it's white. Okay, let's leave it at white because I'm going to reduce the opacity. The features we can control is the size of the stroke. You can see it's very big. We can control the size of the stroke, and we can make it to be outside, we can make it to be inside, okay, and we can make it to be center. Okay, center is part of it is inside and part of it is outside. But for this example, let me just play with the outside part. Okay, the blend mode normal, let's leave this at normal, but let's reduce the opacity. Okay, you must have seen some of my designs look like this. I play with stroke a lot. Okay, I can reduce the size a bit, and you notice that line, like part of the background, being a stroke exactly. So that's what we can also change the fill type to look like gradient. Okay, and this will make it look like some areas are dark and some areas are white. So you can do radial, anything you want to do. You can see it's already showing effect and all that. Okay, you can also control the direction where we want it to be. Maybe here. Let's increase the opacity a bit so you see what's going on. What's going on? My computer is lagging behind. Alright, so you see the black areas and all that. Okay, we can also change this to linear. Let's do linear now. So you see the black is on this side. So we can also reduce the opacity. I like to have opacity go down a bit. And maybe let me just increase the size a bit. Just scroll with my mouse wheel gradually. 10. That's 13, and that's quite fine. Okay, so that's stroke for you. Okay, so you can play with all these features, just try what you can. All right, so the next thing is color overlay. But if you want to play with color overlay, you must make sure that you are not interested in the color that is already here, because once you apply color overlay, it takes over the color and everything that is in there. So you must be sure to use color overlay, and it's just a simple feature. The blend mode normal, just leave it. The color you want, let's say we use the green we put there before. Let's pick a green. You can see the feature is back again. We can reduce the opacity, but it won't be noticed because it's the same color with the other one. So let's change this color. Now if we reduce the opacity, the previous color will come true, or the original color will come true. That's what's happening now. So you can take the opacity to be 100%, and it will be 100% of our color overlay. If we take it to be 0%, it will be 0% of our color overlay, and allowing our original color to come out. So it's up to you what you want to do. You can just keep it at the midpoint. Okay, and remember, in every of all the layer styles, you can always reset to default. When you come, you don't like what you see there, you can reset to default, but never ever try to make it default, because that will be it. Like, you will not be able to revert to the original default Photoshop settings. Okay, so that is just the color overlay. The next thing I want to show you, which will actually be the second to last thing, is the gradient overlay. It's just like the color overlay, only that this time around, gradient from one color to the other. So gradient overlay, but let's take away color overlay so that we can see our gradient overlay. So gradient overlay is simply applying two colors to one layer, and we're doing radial, but let's change it to linear. And so what we have here is yellow here and red on the other side. Okay, you can actually reverse it and have it look like, you know, red here, yellow there. Okay, you can change the direction to this way the red goes. This is like also reversing too. You can actually scale it, like reduce it where the yellow comes out more, that's on one side, or the red comes out more, stuff like this. Okay, so you can play with it. Method, perceptual, I don't think I've tried any of all these features, but you know, you can just give it a try. It's just a subtle change that is going on there, right? So you can always reset to default. Now the last thing I want to show us is the bevel and the emboss. I believe this is one of the cheats that people use in doing 3D, bevel and emboss. Once you select that, you see a kind of bevel formed in the layer. Okay, let's reset it to default so that we can know how it looks like original. Okay, that was my last settings before. So you see, by default you will notice just a little bevel. Okay, I may remove it. You see the before, and this is the after. You just notice soft bevel. Okay, this is because the style here, we can choose many styles. We can use outer bevel. Outer bevel creates a kind of a shadow, but a very deep shadow, and make it look like it's chiseled out of the background. Okay, you can make it, the technique, you can make it smooth, you can make it chisel hard, you can make it chisel soft. Okay, either way, you know, you just notice it. This is one of the cheats of 3D. You can also increase the depth. Okay, increasing the depth, you see it becomes so obvious. Okay, let's go for chisel soft now. Soft. Oh, is that how soft looks like? Let's do smooth, please. Okay, something like that. Right, so now you can also change the direction. The direction talks of the highlight and the shadows. Okay, if you look, here is shining, but bottom here is dark. Here is shiny, bottom here is dark. So if you change the direction to down, it turns upside down. So here shines, here is dark. Okay, well, you know, like we said, light comes from the top, so it's better from the top, except you know what you're doing. Excuse me. All right, so you can also increase the size. Okay, this way it becomes very obvious, but you know, this kind of styles, you apply them subtly and monitor the beauty too. All right, so we can increase the softness. Okay, you can soften it this way, it spreads like feather and all that. All right, when it comes to the shading here, I want you to concentrate on your mind on just this opacity for highlight and opacity for shadow mode. Okay, sometimes you may not like how dark this place is, so you can reduce the dark points, and look at what's going on already. It's just almost out of the way. Okay, if you increase it, it becomes very dark. Okay, and you need to be soft in your application of all these things. So in the highlights, same thing. If you increase it, it becomes so obvious, like light beam or a beam of light. If you take it away too, it becomes less obvious. So you can just choose a point where you want it. Sometimes I like to make it shine more, but the dark sides should be a little bit less. Okay, it just depends on what we have in mind. So these are the two things you just operate here, and leave every other thing the way it is for beginner's sake. Right, and so that is it about layer styles. So far we have treated the drop shadow, the outer glow. It's intentional for me not to talk about the pattern overlay. You can just try that. The same thing with the color overlay and gradient overlay. It's also satin too, and I hardly use satin anyway. Then the contour and texture, I hardly use this, but they are also very good styles that you can, you know, try your hands on. But for beginner's sake, this is just where we can stop for now. Okay, all right. So you can also apply layer styles, not just to, because these are the styles that we have applied to this particular layer. We can actually copy it, like copy the style, instead of going over and starting all over again and putting all the styles like we did here. You can just hold down your Alt and drag from the effect. If you want all the styles, you just drag from the effect into that layer, and exactly it looks like it. So if you see, everything is there. So but maybe you want a different thing entirely. Let's create an object now. Let's say we create this squared object, and we say we want to put the layer styles, not all of them. Okay, maybe we want bevel, so we hold an Alt and drag bevel to the rectangle. You see, it becomes beveled. All right, you can see it. You can also say, okay, I want the inner glow, right? Inner glow feature, drag it into it, and you notice it already. Okay, I want maybe the gradient overlay, and you just drag it into it, and you just notice it already. So this is how you can play with the layer styles. You can copy them, they are not waste. You can even create a folder, like maybe have a folder. Since we're applying all same layer style for all this, you can just group them. Okay, call them anything you like, layer styles if you wish. Okay, and let's say we take away all the layer styles here, take away all the layer styles here, take away all the layer styles here, and drag the effect itself to the folder. Make sure you get to the folder before you release it. Okay, and this time around, all we have done is to put the layer style on the folder, so that by the time we on the effect, it's taking effect on all of them. So same layer style is now controlled, instead of applying one after the other, on the various layers in the folder. You can just apply all the effect on the folder itself, and it controls everything. So this is the folder, and if you click on this arrow button that looks down, these are the effect applied on it. If you take away drop shadow, for instance, it takes away from all of them. Okay, if that's the only one you want to put on and take away all others, it becomes the only effect visible also. Okay, if you apply gradient overlay, you notice what happens: inner glow, stroke, and bevel and emboss, as you see. So that's it about layer styles. If you have any question, please, you can always ask in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer, or you join my group, my WhatsApp and Telegram group, where you can also ask questions, and I will be very willing to answer you. Thank you very much for participating in this class, and I'll see you in the next class. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Thank you. Peace.